Hi everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be going through some multiple choice questions. If you find this video helpful, remember to like and don't forget to subscribe. Also, share this video with anyone that you think might find this video beneficial as well. So let's get into it. Question number 1. When placed in acetone or nail polish remover, a piece of acetate will A. Wrinkle and discolor, B. Dissolve completely, C. Shrink to a smaller size, or D. Turn into a hard bead. This question is asking us about chemical dissolution, which is one method of identifying fibers. Now, in this case, when acetate is placed in acetone, it will dissolve completely. So our answer is B. Number 2, in cold, dry weather, Orlon sweaters may soil easily because Orlon is A, electrostatic, B, thermoplastic, C, water repellent, or D, abrasion resistant? The answer is A, electrostatic. It so happens that in cold, dry weather, such as wintertime, there is a lot of static electricity in the atmosphere, and Orlon being electrostatic would cause that fiber to be more attracted to soiling and whatnot. So the answer for number 2 is A. Number 3, wool fiber has the ability to felt because of its A, bulk, B, elasticity, C, crimp structure, or D, overlapping scales. The answer is D, overlapping scales. If you look at the microscopic image of a wool fiber, you would notice that it does have overlapping scales, and these tend to be very instrumental when matting the fibers together. So once wool has to be felted, that matting process is made easier because of the overlapping scales. Number 4, which of the following phrases may be best used to describe nylon? We have great strength, easily absorbs moisture, a high degree of elasticity. Now, nylon is not a great absorber of moisture, so our only answer would be B, which is I and I. All right. Moving on to question number 5. Which of the following are acrylic fibers? We have nylon, acrylon, cortel. Acrylon actually could tell you straight over from the name that it is an acrylic fabric. Cortel also is acrylic. Nylon, however, is not acrylic, so we know that our answer would only contain 2 and 3, which is C. So the answer for number 5 is C. Question number 6. Which of the following fibers is most suitable for making swimwear? We have A, which is Dicel, B, Lycra, C, Lyral, and D, Draylon. Lycra actually happens to be very similar to spandex. It is a very elastic material and is used in activewear. It's definitely going to be an appropriate fabric for making swimwear. Question number 7. Which of the following natural fibers is derived from vegetable sources? We have A, silk, B, wool, C, cotton, or D, cashmere. Silk, wool, and cashmere are actually from animals, so we know that they're from protein sources, which only leaves us with cotton. So cotton would be our answer. C is derived from a vegetable source. Silk is from a silkworm, wool is from a sheep, and cashmere is from a cashmere goat. Number 8, which of the following is not considered a weft knit? We have A, rib, B, pearl, C, jersey, D, Rachel. Now, rib, pearl, and jersey are actually weft knits. Rachel, however, is a warp knit. So our answer will be D. Number 9, which of the following finishes cannot be successfully applied to a 100% cotton fabric? We have A, stain and mildew resistance, B, permanent pleating, C, shrink resistance, and D, flame resistance. Stain and mildew resistance, shrink resistance, and flame resistance can all be applied to cotton. However, permanent pleating can only be done on synthetic fiber. The answer for number 9 is B. Number 10, which of the following is the strongest in a piece of woven fabric? We have A, warp, B, weft, C, bias, and D, selvage. Now your warp threads run vertical, your weft threads run horizontal, your bias is the diagonal of your woven fabric, and your selvage would be the self-knitting edge of your woven fabric. So naturally, the selvage is going to be the strongest part of your fabric, which leaves us with the answer for number 10 as D. Number 11, the raw materials from which fabric is made are called A, fibers, B, textiles, C, filaments, or D, synthetics. Now, A would be the answer for number 11 because from fibers, you can either create yarns or match your fibers together to create certain felted fabrics or bonded fabrics. And once you've created yarns, you can also move on to knitting or weaving to create woven or knitted fabrics. So fibers are basically the building blocks of any fabric. So the raw materials from which your fabric is made is called A, fibers. Number 12, which of the following general rules could not be followed when removing a stain from the fabric of a garment? We have A, wash the garment immediately, B, treat the stain as soon as possible, C, remove the stain before laundering, D, test the cleaning agent on a sample of fabric. Now, all of these, except for A, speaks to some form of treating the stain or at least testing out some kind of stain treatment. A just says to wash the garment immediately, and you can see that there's no specific care taken for a stain. So the answer for number 12 would be A. Number 13, the print patch may be used when repairing a hole in A, rayon damask tablecloth, B, fluffy cotton blanket, C, striped cotton shirt, D, cotton pillowcase. Print patch would be more appropriate to mend a striped cotton shirt. All the other items, print patches would not necessarily be suitable for any of these. So your answer for number 13 is C, a striped cotton skirt. Number 14, which of the following treatments would Number 14, which of the following treatments would give the best results when soaking clothing? A, leaving overnight in soapy water, B, adding fabric softener and water, C, using cold water with bleach, or D, using warm soapy water? The answer is D, using warm soapy water. Now, the warmer the water, the more easily the dirt or soil would be removed from the fabric. It would loosen itself from the fabric, and soap always helps. So the answer for number 14 would be D. Number 15, when choosing pattern materials for wear, the factor which should be given the most consideration is the A, age of the wearer, B, preference of the wearer, C, figure type of the wearer, D, complexion of the wearer. Now, while all of these factors are important to consider, the figure type of the wearer, which is C, is most important here because larger figures can add bulk, smaller figures have their own effect. However, based on your figure type, you would not want to be adding bulk where bulk is not necessary, or adding visual weight where visual weight is not necessary. So you do want to consider the figure type of the wearer so that you can choose the most appropriate patterned fabric. Thank you so much for watching, and see you guys in the next video.